Right, so this is the first thing I want you to do for prior to your exam. Make sure when you've logged on that your exam account logs on correctly. If it doesn't, if you don't have access to your drive, or if you don't have access to your Photoshop or any programs that you need, can you please log off and log back on? Try that once or twice. If that then fails, please go down the CIP. Check that you've got access to a printer by going into Photoshop. Open up a blank page and just see if you can send it to print without taking your print credit. Switch off the monitor and then wait for your exam to start. So, both of the photography rooms are going to be in use for the exam. You can choose which room you want to be in, that's absolutely fine, but please make sure that you have turned up to the exam 15 minutes before the start time. The start time is 9:30 for the exam till 12 o'clock, and then it's going to be 1 o'clock to 3:30 for the second session. So 2.5 hours each, but as I said, make sure you're into the exam 15 minutes beforehand. It gives you time to go in, settle down, get your bits and pieces ready, whatever you're going to need. It is a working environment, so we do ask that hats, jackets and scarves are taken off. It just saves any complication, overheating, anything like that. Because it's an exam, right, we don't use the word exam in general for it, it's a controlled assignment, but it is set by the exam board, and we have conditions that we need to adhere to, so we have to stick to them. Mobile phones need to be switched off, so not to silent or flight mode. Right? I don't want to have to ask people to leave the exam because the phone has disrupted other people. And the idea of disruption, everybody should have an environment that they can work in productively in silence. So music and stuff like that is not allowed. It's about allowing other people beside you to concentrate. And the last thing I want is a student making a written complaint to the principal or the exam board because somebody next door was playing Justin Bieber, which maybe I shouldn't mention any artists in particular. But it's only for 2.5 hours. The bit that we wait for from the 1st of September, the no talking section of the whole year. Right? You're absolutely fine. Come up to me if you need something, or come up to the Invigilator. Sometimes it's going to be a member of staff. Sometimes it's going to be external staff who are invigilators. But come up, speak to them. If there's something that you need, or if there's something that you think isn't going right. But come up and talk to us quietly. Don't shout across the room. There's no problem in having some light refreshments, but in each room there's a designated area for drinks. Make sure you label your drink with your name, because we can see that there's the same types of water. I don't mind soft drinks, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind some sweets. I do mind hot food and stuff like that, but it all stays there. It doesn't come into the classroom. The other room, there's a designated table there as well. And you know, I don't like peanuts, so don't get any with peanuts because I won't eat it then. The other thing is, make sure that you take it at the end of the day and it's not left behind, otherwise we've just got a big collection. These are the things you need to put onto your back of your final pieces. Okay, so you have to have your name, you have to have which year you are, the year of the exam, the subject, and the number of pieces in order. So it's 1 of 7, or it's 5 of 7. Right? It's really good. Also, for your evaluation, which we'll talk about in a second, you could photograph the layout that you want. So if you've laid them all out in a certain order, photograph it. I don't mind you quickly doing it on your phone, or I'll probably get a camera and have it in each room, and then upload that and put it into your evaluation. Your evaluation is short and sweet. It's any obstacles, any changes you've made, anything that you've done slightly different. Print this off and put it into the back of your book. This and the photograph of how your work is laid out is the only things that you can add as you go along. The printing costs are as they have been all year, and the paper. If anyone is using alternative paper that hasn't been supplied by the college or bought in the shop downstairs, can you please see a member of staff before the exam starts, so you can talk about what setting to set the printer to. This is vital. Do not print unless you're in possession of a printing stick. Alright? We have to make sure that it's only people that know they're sending a print to that printer are going to send a print. What can happen is that we've got one student who's very good and they have decided that they would send the job to the printer and run over and get it done. But they haven't got a printing stick. The only problem is...
Can I speak to an exam? Michael Frisson?
No.
It's a low 6 class, is it?
No, their classes are suspended.
They're suspended. Oh, yeah, no, sorry.
No problem. The printing stick. So one person sent this printing thought, I'll run over, but the other person who has a printing stick has put their large piece of paper in and about to send their job. But the other person's job comes out first. It causes ink loss and time wastage. Don't print unless you've got a printing stick. Don't keep the printing stick unless you're printing. If you're waiting for a printing stick, put your name on the board, right, and return it up to the top table in the room when you're finished with it. Can you also make sure that you do not press any of the buttons on the printers? Check the digital display on the printers that it says ready. It's really important that to check to see if it's ready. If it says ink low, absolutely fine, no problem whatsoever, but it has to be ready to print. Otherwise you can put your paper in and another job will come out of it. It's absolutely fine. It's not like a written exam where invigilators have to escort you out of the room for toilet breaks and so forth. If you need to go, you just see the invigilator. You can't technically cheat in this exam because your member staff knows exactly what you produced. You put up your original drawings, so it's absolutely fine. Don't put too much print credit on. When you go to print, you'll see in that little white box where it normally says student, you have to choose a printing fund. Choose the one that has your exam on it. That's where you can put in your print credit. Don't put too much on, just put whatever you need for that day, because unfortunately the system doesn't allow us to do refunds. There's printing guides on the printers. If you don't know how to print something, please check those. Members of staff can't tell you how to do something that you should all. We're only here to check to make sure the machines are working properly. Glossy side or shiny side of paper towards you. Alright? These little things can save you time and save you money. Don't touch any of the settings on the printer. It can take too long to reset the printer. We may, hopefully you'll get a chance to photograph work when it's going to be submitted. And then you can use that image for your book, and we'll keep it for record for the next couple of years to show other students and inspire them. And then finally, not that you're going to need it, but it's important to say, good luck. Don't worry about this. It's just the end of your coursework in a controlled environment. Right? Controlled environment basically means that we know that what you've produced is what is going to the exam board, and it hasn't been done by anybody else. And then there will be an end of year survey which you'll be asked to do, and I'll give you details on that soon.